Good morning. Thank you for the very enthusiastic introduction. And of applause. How is everybody today? Good. Welcome. Before beginning, just a few announcements. We've began our raffle for Thanksgiving. We've reached 10% of our goal so far. So counting on you guys. We have about a month to go for the raffle. It's on the 22nd. If you haven't received your tickets, make sure to get some tickets today. If you can get some extra tickets, sell them to friends and family, that would be great. Every ticket sold gets us closer to our goals. Also, this next 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now, we have a retreat happening in Florida for all choir participants. It's going to be from the 17th, the weekend of the 17th. All choir participants are welcome to participate. And then members in the Florida area, we're going to have a study session. We're going to meet with everybody on Saturday. It's a great weekend that we have planned. Great opportunity for everybody to get together in person, since we usually do everything online. So it's a nice way to interact. So reach out to your church representatives if you're planning to participate or would like to know more information. 1 week after that, we will have our pilgrimage to Brazil. The pilgrimage will be leaving on the 29th, 30th. Depends on the people that are traveling, but everybody will be arriving there on the 31st. And then from that day to the 3rd, we'll be meeting with Masaki-sama and Mamioka-sama in Brazil when we have the consecration of the sacred ground of water in Brazil. So it's a really unique, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everybody. We did close registrations for the pilgrimage about a week back. We have about, I believe it's 18 people going. But if you're interested, I feel very reluctant to close the registrations because it's such a unique opportunity. So those of you who would like to go are still, have in the back of your mind, I'm planning on going. Maybe we can squeeze that in if you reach out in time. So reach out to us by the end of the day today so that we can move that forward. I won't be able to extend it much longer after that. Today, I'd like to share an experience with you. I think I shared a little while back, but I don't think I shared the whole experience. We have, as you know, I take care of not only here in the US, the group in the US, but also Argentina, Peru, and Mexico. And weekly, we have a study with the group from Hispanic America. And today, I'd like to share with you the experience of one of our members in Argentina. So this member reached out to me. She's actually in charge of the group in Argentina. Her name is Barbara. And she reached out to me in the beginning of May, late April, beginning of May. She said, Sensei, I'd like to make a special donation for Meishu-sama's Birth of Messiah service. It's going to take place, right, on the 15th. I said, well, that's great. Great initiative, right? And she said, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I set a really high goal, like way beyond what she was making. So I wasn't just separating the money that she had, but also beyond what she had, she wanted to donate. And I said, great, I'll be praying for you. Let's see how it unfolds. And then not even a week went by, she started texting. This is so exciting. I can't wait till our next meeting to share with you what's going on. And I said, okay, I'm looking forward to it. And 2 weeks go by. And we get together and she goes, you won't believe it. I said, what happened? She goes, I already have my donation. I said, wow, that was fast, right? Beyond the amount that she was planning. And she said, it's almost ready, but I set this goal. All of a sudden, my boss reached out to me. gave me extra hours. So I've been working like crazy, nonstop, but I have the donation already, the money. So I'm going to be able to pay my bills and make my donation, or make my donation and pay my bills is the order that she said, correcting, right? So then I said, that's wonderful. So the service went by, and after the service finished, she reported, she says, I made my donation and much more than what I was expecting. I can't believe what's happening. And then for you who might be aware of not the economy in Argentina right now is very tough, not easy like, you just go out and you can make extra money. So she was very excited, very happy. And then she turned to me in the next, and she says, then I decided I need to start practicing vegan diet. So I'm reducing 1 day of work. I said, are you sure? You need the money to pay your bills. He goes, no, I'm going to stop working on Fridays and I'm going to start preparing food so I can make somehow this vegan movement in Argentina start moving along. Because here in Argentina, nobody does vegan. There's no vegan restaurants. There's nothing vegan. Got to start somewhere. So I'm going to start making these plates and selling them. I said, okay, go for it, right? She says, but I have no idea how I'm going to do it. Because financially, it's just not doable. I don't have the money or the time to do it. Well, prioritize, right? Put God first. Let's see what happens. And about a month goes by. And she reaches out to me. She goes, you're not going to believe what's happened. Again, here we go. Right? She's on a roll this year. What's going on, right? And she goes, an inheritance I've been waiting for years appeared. I had already given up on this money. Her husband passed away years before. He's Brazilian. And he passed away. And in Brazil, for you to do anything financially, for money to come out, it's very laborious and a lot of work and very difficult. And she lives in Argentina. So it's not like I can just go to the city hall and offices and deal with all that. But she gave up. She said, this money's never going to come. But she called me. She goes, you're not going to believe it. This money showed up out of the blues. And it's enough money. I don't need to work anymore. She's a senior citizen, right? She has more age. So she was taking care of an elderly person. So it was very hard work. It wasn't like a simple job where she was making money. She would work at night to take care of people who are also elderly to make her living. And she goes, it's enough money that I can live comfortably. I said, wow, that's amazing, right? What a blessing. And then she turns to me, she goes, well, but if you think about it, that's interesting, right? So he goes, if I move to Brazil, then I can live really comfortable. Because here in Argentina, things are so expensive. And I said, oh, here we go. I said, okay. Then I listened to her and she was talking. I said, Barbara, I can't decide for you if you're going to move to Brazil or not. That's not my domain, right? That's not my area. But I can help you observe what's really going on. He goes, what do you mean? I said, do you recall when you made a promise? You decided that you were going to expand this work in Argentina, and you said, I have no money to do it? He goes, yes. What did God do? He not only listened to your prayer, he made it possible for you to do it financially. You don't have to worry about working anymore. You were worried about 1 day a week. Now you can do it every day. You can work towards that. So yes, you could go to Brazil. You could enjoy life in Brazil. But wouldn't it be defeating the purpose of why all this is happening in the first place? And I forgot to share. She even said, and even a more amazing blessing happened, right? So she received this money and she goes, now I have to quit my job. But I'm so reluctant to tell the family that I'm taking care that I have to quit my job because they've been so kind to me, right? They've been so attentive and taking care of me. And when I got home, I went to work. Before I could talk to my boss, he said, I'm so sorry. We're going to have to let you go, but I'm going to pay you 1 month, I think, or a month and a half worth of wages, but we're going to have to let you go. So she was in euphoria. Right? She was so amazed, so happy. And after we talked, she goes, no, no, no. Makes total sense. I'm not moving to Brazil anymore. I know why God is doing this. I'm going to do my best here. There. Then I was talking to her. So the experience is actually 3 parts long. Sorry. But then I was talking to her, and she heard the experience that I shared last month for the president of the church in Congo, how he had to travel 2 days, 1 day, 24 hours by motorbike just to get to the border. Then by bus, another, how many hours it was, and then by car just to go meet with Masaki Sama. And I had asked her, right after all these blessings happened, I said, oh, are you planning to go to Brazil this year to meet with Sama? She said, well, all this money is coming in, but it's all tied up in the bank, and I'm having issues and this and that, right? So I don't know if I'm going to have money to go. I said, oh, here we go again, right? Totally. Let's get back on track, right? So I said, okay, that makes sense. But he said, you have to go to Brazil anyways, right? To settle that. Why don't you put the 2 trips together? Go meet with Masaki Sama, and then you take care of your financial situation. The money's there, pay for the trip, right? And then she reflected and reflected and reflected. And then I shared with the group, Hispanic America group, the experience that happened with the president in the Congo. And she calls me and says, hey, I made up my mind. I'm going to go meet with Masaki Sama, even if I have to go by bus. Why am I sharing this with you today? Masaki Sama in Angola, he shared with us regarding the purity of faith, having pure faith, and how, for example, in Africa, where materially they're not so blessed, it's easier not to get sidetracked, to really seek God. Whereas us in the West, the more materially blessed we are, the weaker our faith becomes. You could see in Barbara's experience that very thing taking place. From no money to having enough money to retire, to be able to serve. Then when the money shows, you start worrying, right? Like her. First, she had no money, then money showed up. And then when she has money, oh, maybe I can go live my life. Maybe I can go to Brazil, right? Yes, you can. But is that why the money's showing? Is that why God is providing that money in the first place? Right? So we, in the West, we chase after money. We chase after the material blessing. When in reality, we have to chase God. God is showing us over and over and over, if you chase me, I take care of you. To be a true follower of Meishu Sama, to be a true follower of Jesus, not an easy task. Nobody said it's going to be easy. Nobody's judging anybody for having a hard time. But we have to remember why it is that we're here, where we came from, why we are here, and where we're going. Jesus shared in Mark. Let me pull it up for you guys here, because this is really, really interesting. I've been having I was sharing with Laverne today as we were coming to church. I'm really enjoying the Bible. I never thought I liked the Bible so much. I'm really enjoying the Bible reading. But Jesus shares the following, right? The disciples, he was talking about how he's going to go through all these difficulties and suffer and die. And the disciples turned to him and said, that can't happen to you. It's not going to happen to you. Don't speak like that, right? They're correcting Jesus. Can you imagine that? Disciples correcting Jesus happened more than you believe. Then Jesus said something very powerful. He says, get away from me, Satan. Get away from me, Satan. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's. Satan's way of seeing the world is from a human point of view and not from God. So we look at the world, right? We look at our problems, we look at the situation, and we try to get these solutions with a human way of thinking. Jesus is saying that's not the way to do it. And then he says, if any of you want to be my follower, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way. Take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of the good news, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? If anyone is ashamed of me and my message, these adulterous and sinful days, the Son of Man will be ashamed of that person when he returns in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. There's a lot in this message, right? He's saying, for you to follow me, give up your own way. Your own way. Give up your own way and follow me, and you will save your life. For example, we worry about our family. We worry about our friends, right? We worry about our bills. We have to pay, we have to do, right? When we're holding on to that so tight, it slips away. We lose that and we lose ourselves. And in the end, as Jesus says, we lose our soul, which is much more important than anything that we have. Your very soul, you can lose it. You lose your soul. But if you give up your way and follow God's way, you'll gain everything. We can see that in Barbara's experience, and that's the reason why I'm sharing. When she gave up her idea of how she needs to make money, what she can afford and cannot afford, what she can and can't do, she set two huge goals. Think about it. I'm going to donate X. She donated more than double what she had planned. Right? She didn't have that money to do it. Then she said, now I'm going to take off one day from work to serve God the whole day. I'm going to make food and bring this message out because nobody's doing it here. What did God do? I don't want just one day. I'll give you a whole week. Here's the money for you to do it. There's the money. You can do it. Go for it. We run after money when we should be running after God. God is the boss. He controls all the money in the world, all the prosperity in the world, and he sent you here for you to learn about him and see him. He didn't send you here for you to be on a vacation. That's my theme lately. Sorry. I've been saying to people, because I was thinking about it. It's like, well, we spend all this time with God in heaven, right? Then we're born on earth for about 100 years. We forget God. We forget everything, right? We take possession of God's life. And I think deep down, we know that God exists because there's no way you can deny he exists. But it's like, okay, God, I'm on vacation now. I'm going to earth. I'm going to enjoy, right? I'm going to take care of my little life here. And then I'll see you back in 100 years, and then we can talk about eternity afterwards. If life were only that simple, right? It's like we're on vacation. On vacation. One of the disciples asked Jesus, how can we increase our faith? Right? Jesus says, and this is very, very key, I think. How everything. But he says like this. The apostle said, Lord, show us how to increase our faith. And the Lord answered, if you had faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, may you be uprooted and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. When a servant comes in from plowing or taking care of sheep, does his master say, come in and eat with me? No, he says, prepare my meal, put on your apron, and serve me while I eat. Then you can eat later. And does the master thank the servant for doing what he was told to do? Of course not. In the same way, when you obey me, you should say, we are unworthy servants who have simply done our duty. There's a lot here also. I mean, there's a lot every time. It can go deeper and deeper. But one point, everything in this world is governed by faith. Everything in this world is governed by faith. Your troubles, the solutions are governed by faith. Your goals are governed by faith. Your accomplishments by faith. Your health by faith. Your dreams by faith. Why? Jesus says right here, if your faith is as big as a mustard seed, and I don't know if you guys seen it, I think I showed before, it's a very tiny seed, one of the smallest seeds that exist. If your faith is just as big as that, you can say to a tree, to a mountain, because there's a different passage that says a mountain. You can say to a tree, get up, uproot yourself, and go to the sea. And it will literally get up and go to the sea. Your faith controls the world. God controls the world, but through your faith, everything is covered. By faith, Peter walked on water with Jesus. Jesus was walking on water, and he says, Lord, if that's you, call me. He says, come. So Peter starts walking on the water, and then the storm is getting heavier and heavier, so Peter starts getting scared. Opposite of faith, right? He starts getting scared. He looks around and says, oh my God, I might die. A big fear, right? At least he thought it. He didn't say it. It's not written, but he thought it. So what happens to Peter? He starts sinking in the water. Lord, Lord, save me. So Jesus pulls him out and says, how little faith you have. What allowed Peter to walk on that water was faith. What kept him from walking all the way to Jesus was faith, lack of. When Jesus heals, and there's countless and countless accounts of Jesus healing, what does he say? How beautiful is your faith. When the Roman soldier goes to Jesus and asks Jesus, Jesus, can you heal me? Can you heal the child, the servant in my house? Jesus says, okay, let's go. He says, you don't need to. I'm a soldier. If I give orders, I don't need to go all the way there. It will happen. You are Lord. If you give the order, it will be done. He said, how beautiful is your faith? Go, been done. The faith is what we're here to awaken to. But then, what is faith, right? Because Jesus says here, what's the posture? Because what happens, right? We who took possession of everything, we do something for God, and we expect to be awarded or recognized as a human being, right? You do a good thing, a good deed, and you say, wow, you noticed. Thank you so much for noticing that I did that. But for God, it's different. Jesus, this passage is calling us servants of God. Servants. You're coming here to deepen your faith, to learn and to become a servant of God. What does a servant do? Put on your apron and serve me while I eat. This case is God, right? Put on your apron and serve. Master doesn't call you after you finish a whole day's of work and you're very tired, and he says, oh, come and sit with me. Let's have lunch. No, just put on your apron and serve me. Afterwards, you can eat. And then in the end, right? In the same way, he says, when you obey me, you should say, we are unworthy servants who are simply doing our duty. There's a while back, it was a while back, one person came to me and said, Minister, what does the church need? I want to make some donations to help out the church. Think about that phrase. The idea might have been great, right? I want to help. But is it from the posture, I'm serving God? No, I have money, I'm going to help you out. I have money, I'm going to help God out. It's illogical. God is the boss. God is the one allowing you to work. It's not, Minister, what does the church need? That's not the right posture. That's not how God receives our donation. God, I'm being allowed to serve. How much can I offer? How much can I give back? That's the true posture of serving. But we talk about money and we start rolling our eyes, right? Oh no, here we go, money. No, it's true. Everything belongs to God. Why is it so important? I want to share with you one more point, if you allow me. I think it's the last one, might be two more. Jesus says, words of Jesus, okay? Don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. I'll stop here. There's another part, but I want to read, but this is very key, right? Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be. We can say, oh, I love God. I want to serve God. I want to pray to God. But where is our treasure? What are we treasuring? Are we treasuring the money that we're making, that we're running after, or we're treasuring our relationship with God and recognizing that everything I have is to serve that very God? Because wherever that treasure is, that's where our heart is. God can see that. I don't need to say that to anyone. God knows that. On top of that, he says, your eye is like a lamp. This is a big warning. He says, your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. Think about this for a second, okay? Sounds complicated. For us with English as a second language, it's a little bit harder. But your eye is like a lamp, right? That provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is healthy. So if your eye, that lamp, right, is filled with light, your whole self, your whole being is filled with light. So if you're looking in the right direction, if your focus is in the right place, you're going to be filled with light. However, when your focus and your eye is in the wrong direction, you're focusing in the wrong place, you're filled with darkness. But here is the catcher. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep the darkness is. Everybody says, well, if I'm looking at God, it's light, right? If I'm looking at the world, it's darkness. But if the light you think you have is actually darkness, and there's a lot of cases like that in this world. I'm living my life. I'm doing my best. I'm doing it the right way. God for sure understands. But what if that is not the way God is seen? What if it's not God's? Then it's actually darkness. How deep that darkness is. How deep that darkness is. For example, we have now God, Meshu Sama, Jesus are showing us the right way to live. Food, prayer, music. How many times have we gotten caught with our own understanding of what that means? How we should live, what's acceptable to God? Well, God is going to say it's okay. Is that really light? Or is it what I think is light? Could it be that I'm caught in darkness thinking I'm in the right path? Then Jesus continues, no one can serve two masters. This goes back to what I was sharing about money, why it's important to talk about it, right? No one can serve two masters. If you will hate one for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. Yes, we treat money as our master. We do. How easy is it to say, I can't go to church because I need to work? How easy is it to say, I can't do my donation because I need money for this, or I have money for that. I'm working for this, I'm working for that. What's the priority? Where is our treasure? God created money, as we're learning from Kirsha Sama. There's a purpose for money. Money is not a bad thing. There's a purpose. Without money, we cannot be born anew as children of God, Messiahs. Why is that? Because all our feelings, all our thoughts are concentrated in money. So think about it, right? You went and you worked all week. In the US, we have 40-hour weeks. That's the old schedule, right? Most people work way more than 40 hours a week nowadays. Okay? All your time, all your energy, all your health, all your sweat, all your dreams, all your expectations, everything you are planning to do and not do or have done is connected to that time that you spent making money. Makes sense, right? Most of the time we're running to pay the bill, right? We're catching up to the credit card bill. So much debt in the US, right? It's one of the richest countries in the world, but everybody's living in debt. Everybody's chasing to pay the bills. So everything you lived for a whole month, you're working very hard to pay off. Now take that, multiply it by everybody that's alive. That's all in that dollar bill that you receive at the end of the month. Many people don't see it anymore. It's electric, right? Electronic. It goes into the bank, goes out of the bank straight into the account. You don't even see the money anymore, right? But it's all imbued into that. Money was created to collect all that and return to God, so God can make something completely new out of it. God literally needs your money to receive your thoughts and feelings. You can say, no, I can just pray at church. No. You know why? The minute you start touching money or working with money or thinking about money, feelings that you didn't even know you had start coming up. For example, in this very moment, not sure, I can't speak for anybody, but as I started talking about money, many thoughts and feelings start coming out from everybody, right? Natural. Why? Because the thoughts and feelings of all humanity is imbued, connected, it's locked in with that money, one with that. It represents everything that we have, that we believe, that we've done. If you have money, you can do whatever you want, right? Dreams, crime, whatever it is, it's all there, that money. So God is receiving all that. So if money is my main goal of being alive, it becomes my master. My main goal. That's what I'm serving. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. Many people are locked in that. And then we wonder, but why does money, I can't build up money. I can't make money. It keeps fleeing away from me. If God becomes your main purpose, you wake up to the truth why you're here, money chases you. It's the opposite. Don't believe me? Look at Barbara's experience. Money chases you. I'm not saying everybody now is going to have the same identical experience as her. No. But your life will change. I guarantee you. Because your focus changed. The master of your life changed. For anybody who has financial difficulty, which I believe is most of us, the answer is right there. Simple. We, as a church, have a huge mission right now. Huge. We are here to let the world know that the second coming of Christ has already happened. I don't know if you heard it in the prayer today, but we are here to impart that very blessing to humanity. That's huge. And you can say, well, I don't know what that sounds like, right? I don't know what that is. What is that second coming of Christ? What kind of world is that? Jesus says like this, the kingdom of God can't be detected by visible signs. We're saying the kingdom of God is here, right? We're serving from heaven. Jesus says very clear, you can't detect by signs. We think, well, minister went to church today. I went to church and I heard that, we're saving from heaven and we're letting know the second coming of Christ. However, I don't feel anything different. I don't see anything different. Well, Jesus is saying, you can't tell by signs. Not something you perceive by, oh, this mystical thing just happened outside. No. Then he says, you won't be able to say, here it is, or it's over there. For the kingdom of God is already among you. Then he continues, right? Then he said to his disciples, the time is coming when you will long, I'll skip that part because it's a little bit long. Then he says, when the Son of Man returns, it will be like in the days of Noah. In those days, the people enjoyed banquets and parties, weddings, right up to the time Noah entered his boat and the flood came and destroyed them all. And the world will be as it was in the days of Lot. I don't know if you guys know the story of Lot, but Jesus says it very briefly here. He says, people went about their daily business, eating and drinking, buying and selling, farming and building, until the morning Lot left Sodom. The fire and the burning sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. Yes, it will be business as usual, right up to the day when the Son of Man is revealed. On that day, a person out on the deck of a roof must not go down into the house and pack. Go back and pack. A person out in the field must not return home. Remember what happened to Lot's wife? If you cling to your life, you will lose it. You're just saying it again, right? If you cling to your life, you will lose it. And if you let your life go, you will save it. The night, two people will be asleep. That night, two people will be asleep in one bed. One will be taken, the other left. Two women will be grinding flour together at the mill. One will be taken, the other left. If you cling to your life, you will lose it. You can't measure it. You can't see it. The time has come. We are here bringing this gospel. We are fulfilling this very prophecy. However, We are pioneers, right? We're the first ones to know that truth. The question is, how long are we going to cling to our life? How long are we going to cling to our ways? Cling to it as long as you want. Everybody has free will. But as Jesus says, business as usual until it's, oh, I didn't know. Oh, it's too late. Oh, that's what this was for. That's why I was born on this earth. Can't go forward like that. We need to change our way of being. Our way of being is to surrender our life back to God. So in the end of the day, we have a question. Who are we going to serve? Who's the master in our life? US is a very blessed country. Yes. Materially, yes. God created it for that way, to serve materially. How are we serving? Everybody wants a piece of the pie, as they say in New York, right? Everybody wants a piece of the pie. What's the pie for? Nobody's asking that question. Why does the pie exist? This sacred word, this gospel, is going to reach all humanity. Today we heard in the opening prayer. We are here to eliminate world hunger. That's not some fancy dream. Eliminate world hunger. Think about that. We started that process already. That takes time, that takes people, that takes money. World hunger doesn't disappear just because you prayed for it. It also takes a change. You cannot eliminate world hunger and continue the diet that we have today. It's not sustainable. Not sustainable. That's actually one of the causes of world hunger. Greenhouse gases, right? We talk about, oh, look at how the earth is. Greenhouse gases, this and that. Meat industry is the biggest cause of greenhouse gas. Not construction and coal and everything. It's the meat industry. Change the world by changing today, by changing our way, by changing our relationship with God. We are a very, very real movement. Everyone here is being invited to take part of it, to do it with joy, to do it with fun. It doesn't have to come from anybody pushing anybody to do it. It's fun. And that same joy, I believe that God wants to impart with everybody. Same joy that Barbara felt when she decided to start running in the opposite direction. I want that for you guys too, for everybody here. Let's start running toward God. Let's start running in the opposite direction. The first thing that comes to our mind is, what about my bills? What about my job? Not about that. Jesus says, love God. Seek God and his righteousness. Everything else will be given to you. Your job, everything will be given to you. Even if you get fired, you're going to get a better job. Why worry about that? But it's a team effort. God can do it. He's God. But he wants to share that moment with us, to do it with us. He's allowing us to experience that. He's allowing us, like we heard today, as a servant. He's allowing us to be a part of it. Let's embrace that with all our heart. Serve this true church. That all humanity, like maybe someone said in the hymns today, all humanity can enjoy this paradise on earth that we are constructing. We. He didn't say they're going to do it. He said we are going to do it so that humanity can enjoy. Let's enjoy. Let's do it. Okay? I count on you guys. Thank you very much. May all honor, all glory be returned to God always.